What is going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Here in today's video, we've got a pretty tough scene, pretty tough situation. So we're out at the Surfside Jetty. I'm sure you are used to seeing this place if you've been watching the videos. It is a Friday. It is a little bit more packed than usual. On top of that, we showed up a little bit late. On top of that, the bait shops were out of good shrimp. They still had big shrimp, which isn't the end of the world. You can still catch trout on big shrimp if it's the right day. But if you're buying like a pint of shrimp, right, those big old ones, they're gonna fill up your whole little pint bucket. You would get like a handful of shrimp for the same price that you would get a bunch of little ones. There's a whole lot that goes into it, but basically we have no shrimp today, no bait. So we're gonna be heading out to the jetty, fishing on hard mode, trying to throw lures. It's a very difficult task, but I figured let's go ahead and record this intro. You may never see this, and if you do, just know it was a hard fought day. So let's go ahead, get all of our stuff here together. We're still gonna head out there and try and get some fish, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna hold my breath. That's what we'll say. All right, y'all, we have got our rig changed out here. So right now my pops is getting a bait bucket ready. Maybe if we see some mullet swimming by. I'm not too sure how I feel about mullet. The fish have been pretty keyed in on shrimp. Sure, they would eat a mullet, but they have to be that right size. So it's really just a big question mark for me. But I do know that they've been eating shrimp like crazy, so we're gonna go ahead and throw on a shrimp jig head here. And this is just a very simple shrimp. You can buy super expensive ones at the store, but these are hoagie shrimps. And I found that, you know, the simple stuff is just better. It's cheaper. These things are dang near indestructible. You can catch a ton of fish on them before they go bad. So I figure, you know, why spend, you know, such high dollars on a shrimp lure that was designed to catch a fisherman at the store rather than to catch fish. Now, don't get it twisted. Those things will catch fish, but I think sometimes you can fall into gimmicky stuff, and yeah, that's like the exact opposite of what this lure is. So I like it a lot. You'll kind of always see me throwing this when I want to imitate a shrimp. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, this isn't ideal, right? There's a lot of opportunity for getting stuck. There's a lot of floats around, so you know, the spot where we would prefer to be fishing over down there where a lot of anglers are all stacked up, it's gonna be really hard to fish that, just mainly because, you know, we're fishing a lure. There's a lot of lines out. You know, the odds that we catch somebody's line is very high. So basically we just want to sling it out, let it sink a little bit, and you don't have to play around with your depth, with your cadence. It's very easy to get stuck in these rocks when you're fishing, and especially jigging, because you want to let it get down there low enough to where, you know, you would normally be fishing your cork, but you also don't want to get stuck in those rocks. So it's a real balancing act. The only tip I can give is kind of keep your rod tip up and constantly keep that lure in motion. If you can keep tension on it, you know, that's a bonus points. And if you feel yourself tap dancing on those rocks, be careful. Be careful, because the odds are you are going to get stuck. And nobody likes to be out here retying lures, you know. We come out here to fish, not tie rigs up all day. And here we go, y'all. Our first stuck. There's a couple of options when it comes to getting unstuck. The most common one that you'll see me doing is kind of sticking my rod tip in the air, and I'll just tap the butt of my rod like this. And you can oftentimes just kind of wiggle that hook point loose from whatever it's stuck on down there. But if that doesn't work, then it's usually drops down to about a 10% success rate that you're gonna get your hook undone. But there are ways of like pulling this and keeping like weird amounts of tension. But generally, if that trick doesn't work, it's pretty much chalk. You're gonna lose that lure. I let that sink for about 10 seconds last time, and I'm really just trying to keep it in that sweet spot. And it's tough. You know, I can't tell you how many times I get stuck. You guys will never see in the video just because I edit it out. Like, you know, no one wants to see me getting stuck all day, right? Y'all want to see me catch fish. So a lot of that stuff gets edited out, but don't be discouraged if you're getting stuck. You know, everybody's got to learn. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and to this day I'm still getting stuck multiple times, retying, going through tackle. You know, it's all about getting the right feel for it. Another thing I should probably mention around right now is again, don't get discouraged when you're throwing lures. It might feel like you're, you know, casting and retrieving, and you're not getting any hits, but you got to remember it's a lot like that with your jetty cork and live shrimp as well. You know, you take a look over at the guys fishing the spots over there. It's not like they're reeling in trout left and right. You know, they come in waves, so you know the bite might be really good and everyone's getting hit. And if you see a bunch of that and you're still not getting hit, well, then maybe you can start to worry and you know, troubleshoot, what am I doing wrong? But like right now, you know, I'm just gonna keep trusting and casting and retrieving, because you never know when those trout are gonna be swimming by. Well, there you have it, guys. That was our first time losing our lure, and we lost our whole leader too. So that's the one very annoying part about fishing the rocks with you know, jig heads or artificials. You're gonna lose a lot of gear, you're gonna have a lot of time spent retying doing this, so it's not the best, but you got to do what you got to do. So I'm gonna stop complaining, we'll get retied. So we got everything retied, and I decided to go with a spoon this time around. Spoon's another good option. I've had a lot of luck on the speckled trout with the spoon in the past, and it's a little bit easier than jigging as well. While jigging, you know, you really are letting it sink and popping it up, so you're running a big risk of getting stuck. You can still get stuck with the spoon, but it's a lot more simple. It's more of a cast it out, let it drop, and you can give it a straight retrieve back in. You can pop it a little bit if you want, but the way the spoon is designed is to kind of wobble in the water. So if you give it a loop knot and a swivel, it's going to allow it to do its thing down there, and you won't have to do much work yourself. So just zip that bad boy out, let it sink for around 10 to 12 seconds. You know, you play around with it. Each spoon has a different weight. I believe this one's like about a ½ ounce, so we'll go for about 12 seconds to let it sink, and then we're just gonna bring it in. I do have some good news though. So there's a guy down there that my pops was talking to who recognized us from the channel, and he said he bought a quart of shrimp. He's not going to be able to use it all, so he offered to let us use some of his shrimp, and you know, if we catch any keepers, we'll just throw them his way. So we might be in luck after all. I did want to try and catch one on an artificial just to okay, to kind of show you guys that you can make it happen with artificials. You know, if you ever find yourself in this situation where the bait shops don't have what you need, ideally, like I said, ideally, you know, a better fisherman would just show up earlier, get their shrimp, and you know, get to cracking these fish up on the rocks. That being said, you know, it's not a perfect world we live in. So if I can't make it happen and I lose this spoon, I think what we will do is just tie our rig back on, go grab a handful of those shrimp, and get back at it with the live shrimp rig, the lemon drop. So it looks like these guys are bringing in probably the third trout I've seen today. And the one thing you will notice, especially if you come here yourself, is that there's a certain area over there where you're gonna see most of the trout getting brought in. Now I'm not sure what it is exactly about that spot, whether it's a depth change right there, or maybe there's some structure down there, but you will always see guys bringing in nice trout over that way. And actually, maybe the bite just cut on, because it looks like this guy's on as well. Now you are gonna have to be using shrimp. That's kind of what all those guys are using. It's kind of just like the meta bait of choice. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. But if you can get here, it's hard to explain. There's like a little drop, a dip in the rocks, like a miniature one, and just a couple yards, maybe a couple feet before you get into that dip itself is where I've noticed the best luck. Again, I don't really feel comfortable going over there throwing a spoon, because what you do is you kind of cast out your cork one way, let it flow with the tide, and everyone just kind of, you know, keeps their stuff in line. Try your best to cast and not cross each other. So when you've got a lot of lines and floats drifting around, you know, it's hard to work a spoon in and out, in and out. You're just gonna tangle someone up. So I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, it is a particularly slower day. Like I said, that's about the third trout I've seen. They are all big, healthy trout. The spawn has started, so you're gonna get these big mama trout out here who are, you know, full of eggs, waiting to spawn. And you get them big 20, you know, over slot trout. I haven't seen a 30 get caught in yet, but we brought in a 22-incher yesterday. It's a nice, you know, healthy trout. That, dang, I mean, that looks big as hell over there. Wow. Honestly, I'm just gonna go get a look at that. Holy crap. I mean, that has to go back, but it's a freaking massive trout. Worth going and looking at. Looks like a dang redfish. Ah, man, he just threw her back. That thing looked like it was about 30 inches.
Yeah.
He didn't even measure it, huh? Dang, man. That was a fat one. It looked like a redfish from over there.
I thought so.
It looked like a redfish. It had that thick head. I get a little excited and say the 30-incher. But, you know, that thing definitely cleared 25. It's a fat freaking trout. Man. So yeah, it's a little bit slow, but if you're out here and you're at the right spot over there, good Lord, those trout are so big. Big and juicy. I'm gonna go ahead and keep throwing my spoon. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Spanish show up. We do have a tide change coming in a little bit. Should mix things up a bit. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I'm only gonna hang out here till around noon. It looks like the live shrimp situation is dire. So although oh boy offered a, well guys, it looks like the shrimp situation is no better than before. We do have shrimp now, but they are all massive. So even though you know, the friend of the channel offered us the shrimp, he had the same slim pickings that we had this morning when we went to the bait shops. That being said, I do think it is worth tying on my rig and casting it out there. Nothing wants these spoons. So, you know, push comes to shove, maybe they're eating this, maybe they're not, you know, who really knows. But we'll give it a good old try. That trout over there that they threw back was indeed 29 inches, man. So that is just a smidge away. That is still a trophy trout by all means. It looked like it was floating for a while. I saw it belly up and I felt really bad. I was thinking about trying to snag him with the spoon, or snag her with the spoon, and you know, bring it back in, try and revive it. I mean, you got to get really sketchy down here on these rocks, which, you know, is kind of a shame. You know, I don't know if they think about that kind of stuff when they're coming up with these limits. But, you know, all these trout are over 20 inches. You're hard pressed to, you know, get people to be able to release them safely. Most days you're not. Just, you know, it's dangerous to get down on those rocks, and it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things. Tough situation, but oh no, man, that is such a shame. I can see that trout still belly up out there. 29-inch trout just dead and gone like that. But yeah, you know, it wasn't like those guys were being, you know, super rough with the trout or anything, and they legally can't keep it. So, you know, they had to throw it back, and it didn't survive. Man. All right, boys, I thought about it. I'm not even gonna throw my rig on and fish for these trout right now. It seems like there's a bunch of big ones out here, and being that I'm not even keeping trout, I don't know. I was seeing all those dead ones. There was another dead, probably 22-incher floating belly up in the water. Knowing that it's a little sketchy right now, we got I think every so often there will be a rogue swell that comes in. It makes it really dangerous to get down there and kind of revive your fish. I'm usually pretty quick with them. You know, you get them off the hook, measure it, throw it back. But, you know, I watched that guy, and before I could even get over there to look at admire his fish, he had already put it back and they're going belly up. So there's some bad mojo out here right now. Trout are dying, and I don't know, it feels wrong of me to go after them, especially when I'm not keeping fish, just to gloat and show it on video. So I'll leave my spoon tied on, and if Spanish start getting caught, obviously we'll throw our spoon and try and catch one ourselves. But I'm gonna leave the trout alone. It is such a shame though. Like, I don't know, it's a weird situation with the whole new regulations. You know, guys are out here fishing, and you can't blame them for that. You know, fishing's fishing. You can't not. You don't decide if a 20-inch trout comes and hits your line. So, you know, if you put it back and it dies, and you did everything you could, you know how trout are. They're dainty. They'll still die. And yeah, it's just sucky. But this might be the end of it for this portion of the video. I'm gonna go talk to all the guys. We got a lot of YouTubers out here. That's the famous Renell Roy. Look at him busting it down out here on the rocks. I'm gonna go talk with the guys, see if some Spanish show up, and if not, you'll see me out on another day and we'll be catching some more fish. RGC on the scene here with Cameron. Cameron, what's going through your mind right now?
I think a big old trout ski on.
Trout ski?
He's stuck down in the rock. If that's a trout, it's huge, bro. I'm not even sure if that's a trout. I think it might be.
That's a trout, bro. They're big right now.
Dude, that's a trout.
You want me to go get my net?
Yeah, dude. Low key.
Here, record for me.
Yep.
RGC on the scene. Adventure Bros.
Yes, sir.
If that's a trout, that's gonna be massive.
It's right here.
I'm scared to death. What do I do?
Wait for the net. Did he take off? Like, he took off bad?
He came down, and I thought I was snagged, and I set the hook, and he came towards me. And he almost got tangled in that other cork, and then turned around. There's no way that's a trout, right?
That's all that's been caught today. I thought that there were some reds, but no. It's all been trout.
There's no way, dude. No way,
Fish on, fish on. Big fish.
Live rod is awesome.
Hey, why do I not have my GoPro on?
Bro, it always when you don't have it on.
I don't think, dude, there's no way that's a trout. No way, right?
Pull you back.
Huh?
Pull you back. Big one. That fish. What do you use?
You think redfish?
No. I'm telling you, bro. That's how the trout was running down there.
What do you have?
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. Oh, I know. It's too good.
You need a net. Get ready for a net.
Yeah, he's bringing the net.
Huh?
He's bringing the whole rag. Hell.
Oh, they're moving.
You have net?
What do you think it is, Cameron?
Cannot be trout. Cannot be trout.
Nah, it's not throwing.
Yeah, this is
That
a.
trout would have came up by now.
Yeah.
I think it's a jack, bro.
Yeah, jet. Maybe
I think
jet
it's
or.
a jack.
You think?
Yeah, 'cause it's doing the thing like this. Tail thing.
Maybe a jet or a redfish. But there cannot be a redfish either, because redfish is already done.
It's a jack, bro.
Big jack, dude.
Bro, it's so tiny, bro.
It's a little jack.
Oh, nice jack.
Oh no.
Hey, he's good right there.
There you go.
Look at that extendo
There you
net.
go. Congratulations.
Oh, it came out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And a little jack. Let's go, dude. Thank you.
Yo, we caught a jack.
Wow.
See how I said that? We. All right, y'all. I was down there talking with Cameron. I was giving him some of those clips of the jack because he wasn't recording. Oh, dang. My pops has got a trout over there. He just put it back. Looks like a solid release. That thing should go on to swim and live another day. But yeah, he got his trout. That's pretty cool. Off the big shrimp?
Yeah, same shrimp.
Is that the one?
Yeah, I was talking to Gigi and we were just you know, I turned around and the cork was gone. I was like, it never fails, right whenever you turn your attention away.
That happened to me twice yesterday. Well, there's fish out here. Did he live?
Yeah.
That's good.
I threw him back like immediately. I didn't try to take photos or anything.
Yeah, I think that's what the play is. Alright y'all, that is going to do it here for today's video. Unfortunately, my camera died out there while I was on the rocks. So I didn't get to do my outro out there. But I did want to talk about one thing really quick before we sign off for this one. And that's the new trout limits. So I'm real conflicted on the new limit. Like on one hand, I get it that, you know, you want to protect the fish. We've had a couple freezes. A lot of the stock has probably died off. But on the other hand, I'm out there fishing and I see the application. First off, I want to talk about it, like enforcement of the new regulations. I'm going to be straight up. Out there at the jetties, as I was walking back and forth, you know, going to talk to my friends, getting the net, coming back, I saw a lot of guys out there catching some fish that definitely weren't keepers with the new regulations. And, you know, I didn't stick around long enough to see if they put them in the ice chest. But if they weren't keeping them, they certainly killed them, because there's guys out there. And I mean, it's hard to blame the people out fishing, right? Because all of these would have been keepers. It's people who have been fishing the jetties for years now, you know, 10 plus years. These guys aren't going to change their ways. You know, a lot of them don't bring nets out to the jetty. So the only way they have to get them up on the rocks is doing like a big old rod flip. And then they body slam these freaking trout on the ground. I think I said in the video that trout are dainty. And yeah, they're dainty, but they can survive, you know, as long as they're not getting super severe gill damage. You can take a little bit of their slime off. They can stay out of water a little bit, and you can get them back in there, and they'll be fine. They'll swim off. They'll live. But when we're talking about like blunt force trauma of them getting body slammed on the rocks, seeing guys dragging them across the rocks to go measure them, I'm like, dude, that you can't treat the fish like that. So, you know, unless you have a net out there. I also saw someone make a comment, you don't need to net rat trout. Look, dude, people, you net the fish to take care of the fish. Obviously, the best thing for the fish is to not fish, but like, come on, I mean, we're going to fish. But either way, dude, I don't know how to feel about these limits. A, there's no one out there enforcing them, because there were definitely people keeping trout that weren't keepers. B, like, I don't know. I personally don't like the whole mix of bureaucracy and fishing. Like, I don't even know if there's really people. I'm not the person to talk about it. I'm not the most knowledgeable. I haven't researched like who is coming up with these limits. Is it scientists who are actually, you know, taking the numbers, like a marine fisheries biologist, or is it just people who want to like come up with rules for the trout? Like, I don't know how it works. If you do, comment down below. But I already don't like the fact that they're reducing our limit. It's weird. Creating the new slot is weird. And then when you see big old trout out there dying that, you know, they're literally just being wasted. I mean, I guess they're crab bait or something's going to eat it. But that's something that someone could have took home to their family. They could have, you know, had a keeper, had a great day, caught their limit, and now it's just going back to die. So I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. Y'all comment down below what you think about the new limits. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. So a little bit drawn out there, long-winded. But I feel like it's important to talk about because it's weird, it's new, and I personally don't like it. I'm team new limit sucks. But yeah, that's going to do it. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. Comment down below. And I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace.